We are diving into our power rankings on today's edition of NBA Now by Chat Sports. Following the NBA draft, following free agency, I just wanted to go through all 30 teams and see where they all stack up against each other. My name is Patrick Siepman, and welcome in. But I want to ask you guys this first. Which NBA team do you think improved the most this offseason? From where the season ended to where we are right now, what NBA team what NBA team improved the most? You guys let me know down in the comments section. Coming in at number 30 here, I think this one's fairly obvious. The Brooklyn Nets. After their two trades they made this offseason, them moving Bridges to the New York Knicks, getting 5 first-round picks, and then them sending the Suns pick to the Houston Rockets to get their own pick back, I think it is clear they don't want to win games. That's the biggest reason why they are at number 30. But how about the Detroit Pistons? Maybe I got them too low here considering the moves of Tobias Harris and Tim Hardaway. Like, you got some veterans in there that will help contribute to winning. But again, it's the Pistons. This was one of the worst teams in the NBA this past season. I just think they're going to be at the bottom of the NBA once again. But the Washington Wizards, I've actually liked what they did this offseason. I like the pick of Alex Sarr, and also I like that you got Jonas Valanciunas next to him. I think it's going to help his development a whole lot. But again, they're going to be trying to get Cooper Flag, hopefully in the next year's NBA draft. And we kick it to Portland here, another team that is going to be, in the Cooper Flag sweepstakes. I love Scoot Henderson. I'm a big fan of him. I think he's going to develop really nicely, but, Portland is still a couple of years away. Well, let's kick it to my Chicago Bulls here. I got them coming in at 26. And listen, they got some talent on that roster, but, I think a Nikola Vucevic, Zach LaVine trade is almost imminent at this point. So I could see them, really trying to, mail this season in and just hopefully land, one of these top players in a stacked 2025 NBA draft class. But let's kick it to the Charlotte Hornets here. I'm actually a fan of their starting five. Like, I like LaMelo. I like Brandon Miller. I like Mark Williams. I think they're, obviously they're not going to be competing, in the Eastern Conference or probably even competing for a playoff spot. But I think they're going to be able to, somehow scrap together like 30, 32 wins here. So I got the Charlotte Hornets at 25. Now, my team at 24, they were tough to judge for the main reason that we don't know what they're doing with Lauri Markkanen just yet. But if they do end up trading Lauri, they might drop down to 29 for me and be right above the Brooklyn Nets, as I think Danny Ainge, he's looking at Cooper Flag, and he's probably thinking, I got to do whatever I can to get myself, hopefully a solid lottery ticket in next year's draft. But I got the Atlanta Hawks coming in here at number 23. Obviously, with them trading DeJounte Murray, that was a big part of their offseason. You still got Trae Young. He's a tremendous basketball player. Love Jalen Johnson. I think he's one of the best 3-and-D guys in the entire NBA, but I just don't think they have enough talent to, compete in the Eastern Conference. Now, the Toronto Raptors are coming in at 22. I think the Toronto Raptors have set themselves up to be the 22nd best team in the NBA for the next 5 seasons. I've absolutely hated what they've done this offseason. I mean, you pay Scotty Barnes and Emmanuel Quickley a whole lot of money, and, you're really banking on a big three of R.J. Barrett, Emmanuel Quickley, and Scotty Barnes to carry you for the next couple of seasons. I think they're going to be living in the NBA purgatory for the next couple of years, and they're going to be the kings of the play-in tournament in the Eastern Conference for at least the next 3 to 4 seasons. Now, I got the Golden State Warriors here at 21. I actually liked some of their moves this offseason, and if they go out and trade for Lauri Markkanen, they're going to be flying up these power rankings. But as it stands right now, I got them at 21. Maybe it's a little too low. Maybe I'm not giving enough respect to just the Warriors culture and Draymond Green and Steph Curry, but you lose Klay Thompson, like, you're really banking on a huge jump from Jonathan Kuminga, so that's why I got them, here at 21. No, a team I really like, and I think they're heading in a great direction. The Houston Rockets. Like, you just look at their roster top to bottom, like Jabari Smith, Jalen Green, Fred VanVleet, Dylan Brooks, Şengün. Like, they got a bunch of dogs over there in Houston. And also, I love the draft pick Reed Shepherd. So I think they're going to be a feisty team this upcoming year. Obviously, they acquired the Phoenix Suns picks this offseason in hopes to trade for Devin Booker or Kevin Durant if either of those two would become available. So I think the Rockets are a feisty team at 20. But 19, I honestly think I may have the Lakers too high. The Lakers had a terrible offseason. What they did, they hired J.J. Redick, and they drafted Bronny James. They're running it back with the same exact team that they had last season, and they weren't too good. So I think the Lakers, I think they had a bad year, and plus LeBron is just a year older. So where did they get better? I can't see it. I like the draft pick of Dalton Connect as well, but I just think the Lakers are just it is a family-run business at this point, and it's truly a poorly ran NBA franchise. But number 18. How about the San Antonio Spurs? I'm a Spurs believer. I think Wemby, he is going to be an undisputed top 10 player in the world next season. I love the draft pick of Stephon Castle. I love the pickup of Chris Paul. Love the pickup of Harrison Barnes. And this was a team last season when Wemby took that jump in the second half of the year. They were playing 500 basketball, and that was with a bunch of G Leaguers around him. Now you add Chris Paul. Hopefully Devin Vassell takes a jump. Hopefully Castle is an immediate impact type of guy. I think the Spurs, maybe I got them too low here. I think they are a borderline playoff team, and I could even see them winning a playoff series if Wemby just takes a ridiculous leap this upcoming season. But number 17 for me, I got the Clippers. Very similar thoughts I have on them. With the Lakers, they just didn't really do much. You obviously lost Paul George. You're hoping that Kawhi Leonard and James Harden are enough, to carry that offensive load for that team. I like Norman Powell. I love their head coach, Ty Lue, but, they're just lacking top-end talent. Like, they're just lacking talent in general. But I still think with their culture they have with Ty Lue, they'll be able to scrap together, probably around 40 to 45 wins. But coming in at number 16 for me, I got the Miami Heat. The Heat didn't really have too many options on the table this offseason. Maybe they end up getting the Lauri Markkanen sweepstakes there. But, this is just they respect the Jimmy, Bam, and Eric Spoelstra and that overall Heat culture. They're obviously banking on them being healthy this upcoming year. Jovic taking that next step, and maybe they could be a whole lot higher in these power rankings as the season moves forward. But number 15 for me, I got the Sacramento Kings. I don't know how I feel about the DeMar DeRozan fit just yet. I think it's going to work out, but again, I don't really know until I see it on the court. You got some players that do, a lot of similar things, so I guess that's my biggest question mark with them. I think their front court is still very weak. You got Sabonis as your physical imposer. Like, I think these other teams in the Western Conference can be able to beat up on them, but the Kings, interesting team right now, just not really too sure where I wanted to put them, so I decided to land them at 15. But how about the Phoenix Suns here? Suns are interesting because you got Devin Booker and Kevin Durant. Like, you got one of the best 1-2 combos in the entire NBA. You got Royce O'Neal, still had Bradley Beal, even though Beal's been in, a massive disappointment for that ball club. But the Phoenix Suns, they're still a team you do not want to play in the playoffs. I understand. They just got swept by the Timberwolves, but are you still, feeling fully confident in your ball club if you're going up against Devin Booker and Kevin Durant, for a 2-week series? Probably not. They definitely still need a point guard, though. Maybe Tyus Jones or something goes there on a super cheap deal, and maybe tries a ring chase there. Not too sure. But coming in at 13, Pelicans. This is a really, really tough one for me. Because obviously you have that huge cloud over Brandon Ingram, but overall I like their moves. Like, if you have, the core of Murray, McCollum, and Zion, I think that's a great core. I love Herb Jones. I love Trey Murphy. They still need a true center. They got Daniel Tice. They got Yves Missi in the draft. So Pelicans are an interesting one. Very similar. All three of those teams you see on screen right now, you could flip them around in any order you would like. But number 12 for me, I got the Indiana Pacers. Maybe this is a little high, but I just giving them the respect that they just made the Eastern Conference Finals. They're all going to get, one more year of experience. They have a really young core. I love their offense with Rick Carlisle, but, I don't know. I just think the Pacers, I think they have a really high floor, but not as high of a ceiling as most people think. Now, this is a team I love heading the next year. And a lot of this is banking on Ja Morant Ja Morant getting back to, being Ja Morant. And I think he will. But if their closing lineup is Ja, Bane, Jaren Jackson, Marcus Smart, and Brandon Clark, you got one of the best defensive lineups in the NBA. You got one of the most athletic lineups. And then you add in that Edey piece where you could just go huge with him and Jaren Jackson at that 4-5. You could be a really physically imposing team. And guys, remember, this is a Grizzlies team that was second in the Western Conference only a couple years ago. So I'm a big fan of the Grizzlies, maybe higher on them than most people. But you guys let me know, are you a believer in the Memphis Grizzlies? Give me a Y for yes or an N for no down in the comments section. Really, really curious to see what you guys have to say. Now, this is a team I'm also higher on than most people. I got the Cleveland Cavaliers. I think it was absolutely massive for them to re-sign Donovan Mitchell this summer. This is mostly me banking on, Mobley taking that next step, Jarrett Allen, just that core of Cleveland that's been together for the last couple of years. Hopefully continuity, is a big driving force on why they're successful. But I love Darius Garland. Obviously D. Mitch is who he is. He's a very electric player. Hopefully Evan Mobley takes that next step, and then they're maybe a top 5 team in the Eastern Conference. So I got the Cavs slated in there at 10th in our power rankings. But what about the Milwaukee Bucks? Very, very, very quiet offseason. Pretty funny that Darvin Ham, becomes an assistant coach for the Bucks. Then his first move, he brings back in Taurean Prince. I'm sure Lakers fans got a giggle out of that. But I got them at 9. Just respect for Giannis, Dame. Got some of the best top-end talent in the league. And also, I think Giannis is an undisputed top 3 player in the world. But this is a team I really like, the Orlando Magic. And I got them at 8 here. I love the pickup of KCP. Going to be one of the best players in the league to help you get better on the margins. And a lot of this is me banking on, Banchero taking that step. I think we saw it in the postseason last year. Like, he was fantastic. He was going toe-to-toe with Donovan Mitchell at the age of 21 years old. Also love Franz Wagner. I think he's going to take a huge step this upcoming year. Maybe it's too high for the Magic, but I just really like their closing 5, man. Of Bitadze, Banchero, Wagner, KCP, and Jalen Suggs. You got one of the best defensive teams in the league. Think about this. The Magic were one of the best defenses in the NBA last season, and they added KCP. That's only going to make them better, so I got them at 8. Coming in at 7 here, crazy how we have the Denver Nuggets. It's so funny how this time last season we were saying there is no way the Denver Nuggets don't repeat. Just the parody world we live in the NBA right now. So I got them at 7. Aaron Gordon, I'm sure they're looking back on that contract and probably wishing they didn't give them, as much money as they did. But you still got Jokic, my opinion, best player in the world. And, they did pay Jamal Murray this summer. But number 6 for me, closing in on that top 5. I got the Minnesota Timberwolves. Maybe I have them too low, as this was a Western Conference final team that, just ran into the Mavs, who just were a bad matchup for them, frankly. And, Anthony Edwards, he was only 22 last year. He's going to take that next step. I love the draft pick of Rob Dillingham, but I will say this, guys, there is a solid 7 teams in the NBA. I think there is a huge gap between the Denver Nuggets and Orlando Magic. I think we have a true solid 7 contenders right now in the league. So I got the Timberwolves at number 6. Let's kick it to number 5 here. The Philadelphia 76ers. I'm sure some people are going to say this is way too low. Some people are going to probably say they should be number 2, and I understand that. They got some of the best top-end talent in the world right now. But you got red flags. You got question marks. You got the injuries. You got the playoff, lapses from Paul George and Joel Embiid. I just think, is there a scenario they win it all next season? 100%. But is it more likely than the other 4 teams I have ahead of them? I'm going to say probably not. But number 4 for me, I got the Dallas Mavericks. I think they had a tremendous offseason, man. Like, really did. I think the best thing that happened to the Mavs heading into the season was actually Luka kind of getting embarrassed defensively in the NBA Finals. That's going to be his biggest motivator to get, in elite shape this offseason. I love the fit of Klay Thompson. He's going to be spoon-fed wide open threes, all season from Luka. Obviously, the defensive backcourt is a huge question mark for them, especially if they have to go up, against the Oklahoma City Thunder there. But I think the Mavs. I think they're a tremendous ball club, and they're just going to continue on, building a great team around Luka Doncic. But number 3 for me, I do have the New York Knicks. Continuity matters, and they clearly they have an identity of that rough and rugged style of basketball. I love the pickup of Bridges. It's going to be a seamless fit, and they could run a massive team around a small guard, which I love the most. Like Brunson, obviously smaller NBA player. He's only 6 foot, but if you're able to put around Bridges, OG, Randall, Mitchell Robinson, that's an elite closing team. You're elite defensively. You have elite play finishers in OG and Bridges. And then you got 2 dudes that can, just create mismatches in Brunson and Julius Randle. I think the Knicks are honestly getting slept on a little bit here, as I really am, believing in them, being the second best team in the Eastern Conference. But at number 2, I wanted to put them at number 1 so bad, but I'm going to pay respects to who I do have at number 1, and that is the Boston Celtics. I loved what the Thunder have done this offseason. Why did they lose to the Mavs? They couldn't hit the glass. They couldn't rebound as well. Well, they added Isaiah Hartenstein. Having that physicality next to Chet Holmgren, I think is going to be fantastic. And I just think the Thunder, I think they're a wagon in place. I wouldn't be shocked if they end up winning, 60, 65 games this upcoming season. And plus, what's the biggest reason why they're going to improve? Jalen Williams, Chet Holmgren, heading into year 3s of their NBA career, they're going to take that next step. But I had to give it to the Boston Celtics, man. I think they're the number 1 team in the league. Great 5, best 5-man unit in the entire league. And, once postseason time comes around, it's really just having, the best 5 out there. So I got the Boston Celtics at number 1. But you guys let me know, who's the best team in the NBA? Let me know your thoughts down in the comments section. Curious to see what you guys have to say. And as always, guys, make sure you guys are subscribed here to Chat Sports on YouTube. Hit that subscribe button. And, hey, if you guys hated my power rankings, kill me in the comment section. But if you guys enjoyed them, let me know that as well. But we see you guys next time on another edition of NBA Now by Chat Sports.